On channel 45, cable 9, from 10 a.m. to noon. Mike Paish is your host for that. My name's Pilar Arias. Staying with you a little bit later than usual, but when we're covering an event such as this one, how could I not, right? All right, everyone. Again, my name is Pilar Arias. You're watching News Now, part of Fox10Phoenix.com. I like to get to know our viewers, and I like to ask questions, and some of my favorite questions to ask, I ask for responses in emojis, because it's 2018, right? How many of you is this your first time watching News Now? How many of you is this your first time ever watching our stream? Let me know. All right, I'm getting a lot of smileys and stuff, but I'm not really getting any emojis that say, hey, is this your first time? Hey, I have one viewer at least saying, it's my second time here. Welcome back. We're happy to have you. And the reason I'm asking is not just to get your guys' participation and see you all being active, but it's because I want to put a face to the name. And don't worry, we're going to go right back out to Singapore in just a second. But hello. My name is Pilar Arias. I am one of the hosts here at News Now, which is a part of Fox10Phoenix.com. Happy to be here with you all this evening covering this historic event. Still have about 19,000 of you watching on YouTube alone. And remember, we're still live on Fox affiliates across the U.S. So feel free to let us know where you're watching from, how you found our stream, what you think about what you've seen so far tonight, what you think you might still see, what news might come out tomorrow, you know, because Singapore is quite ahead of us time-wise. It's already June 12th there, and here it's 7:20 in Phoenix, Arizona, which is where I am. What do you think? With this live picture still up there in Singapore, are we going to see them walk between rooms again? Are they going to make any comments? Are they going to have any more handshakes that we'll get to see? What do you all think? I like reading your comments. It's kind of the what you have to say, even though you're typing it. So far, what you've seen tonight, has it been what you thought you were going to see? Has it been better? Has it been worse? Let me know. Because we're all about interaction here and being social. By the way, News Now, we do have a Facebook page, a Twitter page. Mike Page is on Twitter. I'm on Twitter. Oftentimes we have members of the Fox 10 Phoenix crew here on set. Earlier today I had Steve Kraft. Everybody's on Twitter. Don't worry, I'm keeping a very close eye on Singapore. Thank you all for being with us. Really appreciate it. And we'll continue to monitor the situation for about another 35 minutes. Remember, if you missed any of it, you can replay it as many times as you'd like. Just head on over to youtube.com/Fox10Phoenix. And you can watch, I think I clipped 2 of the handshakes, the initial one, the one inside where the media was allowed, and then their arrivals. And yeah, I'm going to show you really quickly though, for those of you it is your first time, you've never watched News Now before, you don't know the inner workings. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to change the camera picture here really quickly and show you, and I'm purposely not watching you guys while you see this picture, all right? Because I need to keep an eye on the stream and what's happening on the stream. So News Now here, this is what we do. This is the set. Got a bunch of different keyboards and monitors, and it's self-contained. We bring up the live pictures. We switch cameras. We communicate with people out in the field. We have partnerships with stations, not just here in the US, but worldwide. And we're able to bring you things as they're happening. That's why we're called News Now. Again, thanks for watching this historic North Korea summit. We'll be with you for about another 35 minutes. We do have a viewer in the YouTube chat asking if we know exactly the time of the working lunch. We do not. We just know that they have it scheduled to have a working lunch together. Still have that live picture up, though, on the right-hand side. We're going to continue to see what we can see. Someone's asking why we can't be inside the meeting between President Trump and Kim Jong-un. They let media in very briefly, and I clipped it, so just head over to our main YouTube page. You'll be able to replay it there. But other than that, we have not been let inside. Appreciate all the comments and questions, though. Happy to answer them. Have another viewer asking if Dennis Rodman will be in attendance. He is in Singapore, but the White House has said he is not officially a part of this North Korea summit. And from the video we have there where the meeting's taking place, we're watching live now on the right-hand side of the screen, we have not seen him there. since this summit started, I clipped 5 separate YouTube videos. Kim Jong-un arriving, President Trump arriving, the initial handshake photo opportunity, the full coverage of the special report that we aired. That was about 14 minutes long. And then the very brief inside look the media got when President Trump and Kim Jong-un shook hands again. That one's called Smiles and Handshakes because the president did smile during that brief clip. That clip's only 12 seconds, matter of fact. Looking now at the Twitter handle for President Trump, at POTUS, that's POTUS. His last tweet was actually a retweet 2 hours ago from his @RealDonaldTrump account that says, "Our great Larry Kudlow, who has been working so hard on trade and the economy, has just suffered a heart attack. He is now in Walter Reed Medical Center." Trying to see if I can find any tweets on North Korea. There was a retweet from the White House that said, "Check out President Trump's trip to Singapore in photos." And the White House also tweeted, "President Trump will meet North Korean leader Kim Jong-un in Singapore at 9 p.m. Eastern. Read more," and they tweeted a link. And remember, Secretary of State Mike Pompeo briefed the media today ahead of the summit. We aired that live here on News Now, part of Fox10Phoenix.com, and in its entirety. Any of you out there follow the president on Twitter? And if so, which account handle do you do? At @RealDonaldTrump or at POTUS? Feel free to let me know. 5 hours ago, at @RealDonaldTrump tweeting, quote, "The fact that I'm having a meeting is a major loss for the U.S., say the haters and losers. We have our hostages. Testing, research, and all missile launches have stopped. And these pundits who have called me wrong from the beginning have nothing else they can say. We will be fine." Continuing to take a live look in Singapore there on the right-hand side of your screen to see if we will see anything else. For those first-timers who did join us this evening, thank you again. We hope that you return, whether it's on Fox10Phoenix.com, our YouTube page, which is youtube.com/Fox10Phoenix, on the Fox 10 Phoenix Facebook Live, on Facebook Lives for other Fox affiliates across the U.S. Remember, we do have people who tune in every single day because we're on Monday through Friday. And our streams in their entirety are posted on our YouTube channel. But you can also click subscribe. It really just takes one click. And then you can sign up for notifications to be alerted anytime we go live with breaking news situations. We have live feeds from across the U.S. and worldwide, as you can see here. You never know when we could be in your neighborhood covering something that you need to know about, whether it's a fire or a serious crash impacting traffic or a police chase. We cover those quite often here on News Now, or presidential news, White House news, State Department news, United Nations news. We cover it all here on News Now, part of Fox10Phoenix.com. About 25 minutes left in our stream tonight. We're going to continue to take a live look at where the North Korea summit is happening. And in about 10 minutes or so, I'll probably replay the entire special report coverage that we had. looks like they are refeeding is what they call it, or a replay. You see Secretary of State Mike Pompeo there to President Trump's left. A little bit longer of a clip inside the meeting of these two, though.
Thank you very much, everybody. Thank you. Thank you.
All right, everyone, for one last time tonight, we are going to replay the Fox News special report we had when this all got started. And if anything changes with live pictures, we'll bring that to you here.
I'm Shannon Bream at the Washington Bureau of Fox News with breaking news. We're just moments away from the first ever meeting between a U.S. president and a leader of North Korea. It is 9 p.m. Eastern and 9 a.m. in Singapore, where President Donald Trump and North Korean leader Kim Jong-un are about to go behind closed doors with only their translators for a one-on-one meeting, leaving behind the scores of diplomats and media who have been following them around. Leading up to that moment, there will be a diplomatic photo op. They are scheduled to walk in right where you're looking now, shake hands in front of the cameras. Shortly after that historic, momentous greeting, the two leaders turn in unison. We're told we'll walk side by side to the room where they will begin these historic talks. We are told that both leaders are on site there. They have arrived. We will take you that moment when they face each other and meet in person for the first time. Let's bring in former Republican chairman of the House Oversight Committee, Fox News contributor Jason Chaffetz, and Republican senator from South Carolina, member of the Senate Armed Services Committee, Lindsey Graham, as we await this historic meeting. Gentlemen, good to have both of you with us tonight.
Thank you.
Senator, I'll start with you. There's been a lot of talk about the president and also Secretary of State Pompeo managing the expectations for this meeting. What do you hope will be accomplished, or what do you think is realistic?
Well, I don't think we're going to solve the problem today, but it's a first step towards solving the problem. You can talk about this all day long, but Trump has to convince the leader of North Korea that he's safer and more prosperous giving up his nuclear weapons than he is with keeping them. And how do you do that? You convince this guy that the incentives to give up your weapons, the security guarantees will be good for you, and if you reject that and try to do the same old thing you've done in the past, we're going to stop your program through military force. He has to believe that, or we'll never get a good deal.
Well, Jason, there's so many other key players here who have been on the sidelines and are now front and center. We've got Japan, we've got South Korea, but China looming large here because 90% of North Korea's trade is with China. They have to participate in the sanctions and the maximum pressure, or it ultimately doesn't work.
Yeah, you're right, and the senator's right that the economic sanctions have played a role, and the tough talk and the tough action that President Trump has put into place with China does have an effect on their encouragement to North Korea to actually come and resolve things. But you can't let down on the military side of the equation. When the Senate and the House passed the bill and plussed up the amount of military might, and we put that force forward, I think it was a very clear signal to both both China and North Korea that the United States was going to solve this and make sure that nothing happened in the world unless we said it was going to happen. And that tough positioning that Donald Trump has taken is very different than what we've done over the last several years. It changed the trajectory, and now we're having this historic meeting.
And Senator, as we watch this, there's been a discussion about all the different things that could or could not be on the table. Both the president and also Secretary Mattis have said, when we're talking about troops in South Korea, U.S. troops going away, there are about 25,000, 28,000 there. That's not up for negotiation, but they are going to talk about formally ending the Korean War, which has just been in a truce for decades now. They're also obviously going to talk about the main goal of denuclearization there. And today we learned as well they want to talk about biological and chemical weapons. This is a very heavy lift on a number of fronts.
Well, there's column A. Column A is all the things you get if you give up your nuclear weapons and your ballistic missile program and you stop threatening us and the world at large. Column A will have security guarantees. It will have economic incentives. It will be a good package. We're not going to remove our troops because that's what China wants, because that destabilizes all of Asia. Column B is a military confrontation with the United States, which North Korea will lose. It will be the end of the regime. If it's not that clear, we won't go anywhere. Now, why are we meeting? Because they're afraid of Trump.
And, Senator, it looks like now we're getting closer to the moment that these two leaders, President Trump and North Korea's leader Kim Jong-un, are meeting and shaking hands. You are watching history live as it happens in Singapore. It's the first time ever that a sitting U.S. president has gone and met with the leader of North Korea to sit down and have discussions about their nuclear program. There have been numerous talks and agreements in the past between numerous U.S. leaders and North Korean regime. They have all failed. They have fallen apart when someone, and generally it's been North Korea, has not lived up to the deal. Now these two begin what they will do first, which is go behind closed doors, one-on-one with only their translators, none of their diplomats, none of their staff. The president has talked a great deal about how he feels that he'll know within even the first moment whether Kim Jong-un is serious, whether they can make a deal. He has said this is a lot to do with attitude, with willingness to find some type of compromise. But the U.S. has also said the ultimate goal, as Secretary Pompeo reiterated today, is about completely getting rid of, dismantling, and wiping out North Korea's nuclear processes as they stand right now. We don't even know, truthfully, because it's really tough for intel on every level to find out exactly how many nuclear weapons they may have, the capabilities they have. We've seen numerous ballistics tests and nuclear tests, 6 of those now in recent history. And as these two leaders walk together and talk, they are smiling. They appear congenial. And you see the press following closely behind. After they have this private meeting together, there will then be a more expanded bilateral in which they'll come together with important members of their staff. General Kim, as you remember, will be the one who came to New York and then ultimately to the White House to deliver a letter directly from Kim Jong-un to President Trump, inviting him to carry out this summit for the two of them to get together. On the U.S. side, General Kelly will be there, White House Chief of Staff, we're told, also Secretary Pompeo. And they will get together and get down to brass tacks. But first, these two go behind closed doors, mano a mano. Jason, these two leaders, it's never happened before. What goes on in these few minutes where it's just the two of them and their translators?
I think this is what Donald Trump was relishing. I also think it's what Kim Jong-un was seeking. He wanted respect on the world stage. He has the attention of the President of the United States, but it's a great opportunity. It's exceeded all the expectations. Even just a few weeks ago, we didn't know if this was going to happen, and I think it is a good and healthy thing for these two people to look eyeball to eyeball and chat in person. Put aside the staff, put aside all the other work that goes on. You still need those two people in the same room at the same time to make critical decisions and create a trajectory where we can have a safer world.
And Senator, you know there have been critics on both sides of the aisle about the way the president has conducted diplomacy, the way that he is very direct, that he gives out nicknames. You know how this works with him, and yet this is further along than we've seen ever before with an American leader. Now, critics will say he gives North Korea and he gives Kim Jong-un some degree of legitimacy simply by sitting down with him. You think it's a plus or a minus for these two to meet face to face?
We have nothing to lose by doing this. Let me tell you why I believe that. President Trump The first time I met him as president said that he was going to stop North Korea from developing a missile with a nuclear weapon on top that could hit America. He believes he can make it a win-win proposition, but if he has to go to war, he will. No other president has gotten this far because no other president has been that clear. I don't want a war. So you better pray and hope this works out, because if this falls apart like everything else has in the past, then President Trump will use military force as a last resort. But this president and his team has accomplished more than anybody in the last 30 years by being tough and clear. I believe that North Korea is afraid of Trump. They don't know what he will actually do, and they're there because they're trying to find a way out of a box that President Trump has put them in.
And you're looking live now in Singapore as the two have just moments ago met face-to-face. They shook hands, and now they sit down. The media will be ushered out in just a bit so that they can sit there and talk with only their translators as the witnesses to this bit of history. Jason, there's been a lot made of the president's team. Oh, wait, let's listen in. I think we've got some audio here.
Well, it was not easy to get here.
우리한테는 우리 발목을 잡는 그 과거가 있고 또 그릇된 국민과 발행들이 우리 때로는 우리 눈과 귀를 가리고 있었는데 우리 모든 것을 이겨내고 이 자리까지 왔습니다.
The past worked as fetters on our wings, and the old prejudices and practices worked as obstacles on our way forward, but we overcame all of them, and we are here. That's true. Thank you very much, everybody. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you.
This way. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah, you can see the president there as he's chuckling and we're chuckling a little bit, saying, you know, I'll answer some more of these questions once we get the media out of here. Let's listen in.
Thank you.
We find so often with this president, when the media is told time's up and it's time to get out, they're still shouting questions often, the press corps with the president, and that is often when we get some of the most interesting comments from him. A little bit there, a little bit of a chuckle and a lighthearted moment as he said he would answer some questions. It appears that Kim Jong-un had a discussion they wanted to have, but that wasn't going to happen while the media was there. So they have been ushered out, and now we will await as they go behind closed doors. We may hear from them afterwards. We don't know how timely a fashion that will happen. But let's show you the handshake again, because it made history just moments ago when these two walked across that portico at a Singapore hotel, shaking hands, saying they will meet together the first time ever, a U.S. president and the leader of North Korea, meeting face-to-face to try to tackle what is a very difficult, very complex problem, and that is denuclearizing the Korean Peninsula. A lot of players involved. We talked about China, South Korea, Japan, and really the impact on the broader world. We know that North Korea has been testing intercontinental ballistic missiles. There's been a lot of talk about the range that they have, the mid-range missiles that still very much will concern Japan if those aren't addressed in these negotiations. But more broadly, the rest of the world worried about the very rapid advancement and development of the North Korean program. Jason, I started to ask you about the fact that this team is interesting in that we have former UN Ambassador John Bolton, and you've got now Secretary of State, former CIA Director Mike Pompeo. A lot of folks say that they bring different viewpoints to the president. And so he's got really two different angles coming at him with his own team, two different things to consider.
Well, John Bolton comes with the reputation of being very hawkish. He also has the historical knowledge and background from his extensive government experience. Mike Pompeo has the belief and the confidence of the president, and as Secretary of State, and prior to that as the CIA director, his personally meeting with Kim Jong-un, I think, was the precursor that maybe gave the confidence and smoothed over some of those rough edges that allowed this type of meeting to come to fruition. So I think in retrospect, those two gentlemen have played a very key role, but it's under the direction of President Trump, and I give the president a lot of credit for getting out of his comfort zone and sitting down and doing what a lot of people wouldn't do otherwise.
And of course, Secretary Pompeo obviously was one of your colleagues on the Hill as well. He used to be a member of Congress on the House side. And Senator, there's been a lot of talk from Republicans and Democrats alike about whatever is ultimately hammered out. If this is step one and it takes weeks, months, years, whatever it takes, ultimately whatever is hammered out, they would like to see Congress have some vote in this, some say in this. There was a lot of criticism, both from Republicans and Democrats, of President Obama putting together the nuclear deal in a way that didn't amount to a treaty, so the Senate never got to vote on it in that respect. What level of congressional involvement would you like to see as this plays out?
The highest possible. President Trump has told me that whatever deal he makes, if he makes one, he'll have enough confidence in it to send it to the House and the Senate, and that's the right move. President Trump is nobody's fool. All the critics who are accusing him of this or that or criticizing him, how well did you do with North Korea?
All right, everyone. Pilar Arias signing off for News Now, a part of Fox10Phoenix.com for the evening. Again, thank you all so much for being here with us during this North Korea summit coverage. If this is your first time here, we're glad you could be with us. Please do us a favor and click that subscribe button. You'll be alerted anytime we go live with breaking news situations if you sign up for our notifications. Remember, you can always find us on Fox10Phoenix.com. We do have